Welcome back to Quantum Mechanics on Catalyst University. My name is Kevin Tokoph. Make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel for future videos and notifications. In this video, I'm not actually going to show you where this expression comes from, but we are going to use this expression to actually prove that two operators are Hermitian. I'll have a separate video where I actually derive this expression, and it's not too difficult. Okay? Now, let's go back to one of the previous slides, which I'm actually going to show you in another video. What does it mean for an operator to be Hermitian? Well, we have this table right here. These are our typical quantum mechanical operators. All of these are Hermitian. Okay? So what does that mean? What does it mean for an operator to be Hermitian? Well, we have this table of operators right here, and all of these are Hermitian. We just didn't call them that yet because we didn't want to confuse things. But being Hermitian means the operator is two things. Physically, the meaning is, when you operate on a wave function, it yields a real result. So, for example, when we use operators, one of those applications was, if we go back to one of the previous videos, is we calculated expectation values, right? We threw the operator in on one of the wave functions, operated on it, integrated from negative to positive infinity, and we got some value, right? Well, you have to get a real result. If you get a result that is complex, just meaning it has I in it, remember I is the square root of -1, an imaginary number, it's not a Hermitian operator. So you have to get a real result, okay? Mathematically speaking, that kind of is mathematical, but another meaning is that when you operate on the wave function, it also doesn't matter what order or what wave function you operate on. So for example, it wouldn't matter if I operated on Xi2 or I operated on Xi1. And we kind of went over that briefly when we talked about actually calculating expectation values. Whatever wave function you operate on, it shouldn't matter if it's Hermitian, but also you should be getting a real result. Now, I'm going to skip the derivation of this expression right here, which we'll do in the next video, but I'm going to actually show how you would prove that an operator, specifically we're going to use the momentum operator, to prove that it is Hermitian. Okay? And what I'm going to do is my Xi1, it really doesn't matter, but I'm just going to say that's my normal Xi. Xi2 is going to be the Xi star. There's actually a proof that you can do that we won't do here, but it doesn't matter if you use the same wave function, so you can use the one wave function and its complex conjugate. You can also use, you can actually use two different wave functions, Xi1 and Xi2, that are actually different. And it turns out that if it works in this simple case, it actually works in the general case that I just showed you. So we're actually just going to do this. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to, on the left side here, I'm going to operate on Xi star. Now the operation I'm going to use is the linear momentum operator, which is -I h bar times the first derivative with respect to x. So that operator is going to be done on the complex conjugate of Xi. So I'm going to multiply by -I h bar, and I'm going to differentiate Xi star with respect to x. And since I'm eventually going to be integrating both sides over all space, I'm going to throw this dx on here. Okay? Notice nothing happens to this initial Xi. Okay? It just stays there. Now, on the right side, neglecting the integral again, remember there's a negative sign right here. One side has to be negative. It actually doesn't matter which side. I just did it on this side. So Xi star I'm going to leave alone, and now I'm going to operate on the other wave function, Xi. So that means I'm going to multiply by -I h bar, and then differentiate normal Xi with respect to x. And then remembering that I'm eventually going to integrate both sides, I'm going to throw this dx on at the end. Okay? So it takes a little bit of work to get to this, and now all you have to do is really just simplify algebraically. Now, notice here on this left side, I have this derivative of Xi is the complex conjugate of that derivative. Okay? Now, what I can actually do is I can take this derivative and pull this -I h bar inside it, and then make the entire thing a complex conjugate. So go down right here. So what I've done is I've actually opened up a bigger parentheses and pulled the -I h bar inside of it, and then pull the complex conjugate notation outside of that. I'm actually allowed to do that. What this tells me is I'm taking, first of all, the complex conjugate of this derivative, or this Xi, and then I'm taking the complex conjugate of this -I h bar. Okay? And what that means is when I take the complex conjugate of the -I h bar, it just becomes I h bar. Remember, taking a complex conjugate means that you flip the sign of every I that you see. And what that allows me to do is pull the IH bar back out of the parentheses, and now I just have d psi star dx. Okay? On the right side, nothing really special is happening, nothing complicated. I still have my negative xi star times negative IH bar d psi dx times dx. But notice what I can do is I have a negative function times another negative function. Two negative signs multiplied cancel to become positive, and so that's what I have here. Xi star times positive IH bar times the derivative of xi with respect to x, and then the dx. Okay? That ultimately gets you down to this result right here. Okay? And so let's just read it. Xi times the derivative of xi with respect to x, and that's the complex conjugate, dx, equals xi star times the derivative of xi with respect to x dx. If you get down to this result, you can pretty much say that the operator is Hermitian, because for the most part, I have the same thing on both sides of the equation. Now, if you really wanted to be rigorous and show that the operator is Hermitian, you would then have to integrate both sides from negative to positive infinity. But I guarantee you, when you do that, you would actually see that both sides, the result, they will actually equal each other. Okay? But for all intents and purposes, getting down to this is actually good enough. And what we'll actually do in the next video is we'll actually show the derivation of this expression. It's actually not terribly complicated, although you might as well just start with this. And then after that, we're going to do another example where we actually have a real wave function. We'll actually use a particle in a ring wave function. I like that. It's a really easy function to use. And we'll show that the operators are Hermitian. All right, so thank you for watching this video. Make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel for future videos and notifications. Thank you.